Let's kick it off with Genesis. People are all over these companies for owing out some money, and Genesis owes a couple dollars. Let's talk about it. Genesis owes Gemini Earn users 900 million with an M dollars. Gemini has yet to reopen withdrawals for users of its Earn service due to crypto market contagion from FTX. Embattled crypto broker Genesis and its parent company Digital Currency Group owe users of Gemini Earn 900 million, the Financial Times reported on Saturday, citing anonymous sources. Gemini had used Genesis as its primary lending partner for its high-yield Earn service, which allowed customers to deposit their cryptocurrency in exchange for interest, similar to a bank account, offering returns between 0.45% and 8%, depending on which token you deposited. According to the Financial Times, Gemini is working as part of creditors' committee to regain the funds from Genesis and DCG. The Gemini Earn service has experienced severe disruption since FTX contagion began the start of last month. So part of the reason I wanted to talk about this one was I was sitting at, what's the high-end steakhouse place that I ate at?
Prime 121?
Prime 112.
112.
Yeah, so I'm sitting at Prime 112. There's a gentleman a couple seats down. I'm waiting for Ramel and the rest of the crew to get there. And he starts talking to me about the markets. He's like, hey, what are you in town for? You live here? No, I'm here speaking at an event, blah, 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 whatever. He ends up telling me that he is a stockbroker. And we start talking about what he does, what he's into, just having that whole conversation. And he ends up telling me that his son is like a big wig in Genesis. I didn't like ask his name, but he told me he's like VP of something with Genesis. And I asked him, I said, hey, like, should we be concerned? And he said, concerned? Yes, because the entire market and everything surrounding it is absolutely a problem. But he said that according to his son, Genesis/Gemini will not be going anywhere, and you won't be seeing any wild news in terms of commingling of funds, all of the craziness that you've seen with FTX. According to this man, again, anonymous source, gentleman sitting at a bar, whatever. He said that we shouldn't see the same thing from them. I don't know. I know these yield programs, Crusader, I'd love to hear from you. 0.45%, okay, I can get on board. 8%. Part of the reason why we stayed away from some of these with our money, with our crypto, had been because of the high yield, because it's unsustainable. What are your thoughts on these companies? And I don't think they're going to be able to do this anymore, but what are your thoughts on this? So they owe almost $1 billion to people. Do you think that people are just going to be SOL with this, or is this going to be something you think they'll try to make people whole?
Yeah, I don't know about making people whole. I don't see that happening, right? These companies are used to like, hey, we messed up. Sorry, we lost the money. It's gone. See you later, alligator. Right? I don't see companies bending backwards to make people whole. I do believe that whole Gemini will be solid. Just for the simple fact that the Winklevoss twins have been around for quite a long time. They've been one of the first people that jumped into the whole Bitcoin cryptocurrency game, and they've worked with regulators very closely with USDC. They have the GUSD, I think, as well, like their Gemini stablecoin. They've worked with Circle. They've done all these things, so I think they're pretty solid. Obviously, anything can be a surprise. But I think that they're in it for the long game. I don't think they're in it for the Sam Bankman-Fried scenario of a quick cash grab. And yeah, with regulation coming now, expect regulation between now and the next Bitcoin halving for sure. I think that these lending products are definitely going to be heavily regulated, right? We saw Coinbase, the minute they were trying to do some 4.5% something, they quickly got shut down, right? Because they're super close to the regulators and they're super close to the banking system, right? So they know that they cannot break out of line. So I think moving forward, when regulation finally hits, all these centralized exchanges are going to be heavily regulated when it comes to APY. Decentralization still has hope.
Yeah, I think we'll see some people attempt, but I think that these companies are going to have to basically file to be able to offer some of these yields, because what they effectively were doing was just tossing out kind of some bait into the tossing out a bait and a bobber out into the water, seeing who would bite on it, and a lot of times they were able to get the yield that they were supposed to have earned because the markets were continuing to do what they were supposed to do. I think what a lot of people didn't think through was, hey, wait a minute. If you have like a guaranteed yield coming back at you at whatever percent that is, it has to come from somewhere. So what happens when this goes belly up, right? And a lot of people just didn't really think that through. And now you've got people being owed massive amounts of money.